closer than you think, and hopefully not closer than we think.
The party at the fairgrounds starts this week. See how Gentili is getting ready. But first,
not only do we have DNA evidence, we have people saying this other guy's confessed to the murder.
Is the wrong man on death row for a Bridge City murder? Tonight, new evidence that could free him.
From WGNO New Orleans, this is ABC 26 News at 6.
A Gretna mother hopes DNA evidence is enough to get her son off death row.
A jury convicted Ryan Matthews of killing a Bridge City convenience store owner almost 4 years ago. Now ABC 26's Tom Bagwell shows us defense attorneys say they've got proof prosecutors sent the wrong man to prison.
We will investigate this thoroughly, prudently, and fairly in the interest of making sure that justice is done.
Jefferson Parish District Attorney Paul Connick is reviewing a murder case that may have sent the wrong man to death row. A jury convicted Ryan Matthews in the robbery-murder at Como's Grocery on Bridge City Avenue in May of 1999. Witnesses say the man who killed Tommy Van Hoos wore a ski mask. Police recovered at the scene.
We have taken the DNA from the ski mask and we have matched it identically to the DNA from the suspect who we now know as the real killer.
Defense attorneys say Rondell Love killed Tommy Van Hoos. Love is serving 20 years for killing Chandra Conley at the Normandy Apartments. It's just blocks away from Como's, and it happened just 7 months after the Van Hoos murder.
Chandra Conley would not be dead today if it were not for the fact that the police arrested and falsely convicted Ryan Matthews.
Connick admits the evidence is eye-opening.
The fact that Rondell Love's DNA is on the mask, the ski mask, proves that at one point he wore the mask.
The DA says what he doesn't know is when Love wore the mask. But defense attorneys say there's more. They say testimony from one of the witnesses is shaky, and they say Love has admitted to several people he pulled the Como job.
The last thing I want to do as a prosecutor is to put an innocent man in jail.
I'm sure Ryan is innocent. I know Ryan is innocent. I've always known Ryan is innocent.
Defense attorneys say if the Supreme Court doesn't get the new information now, it could be years before the DNA match makes it to the appeals process. Tom Bagwell, ABC 26 News.
Thanks, Tom. And the Jefferson DA says when the Matthews case went to trial, his office didn't have a way to randomly cross-check DNA evidence. He says that system is being put in place right now.
Church leaders say they're going into the trenches to curb the wave of violence plaguing city streets. A number of them met with Police Chief Eddie Compass to see how they could get involved in what they call a war. ABC 26's Glenn Boyd live at NOPD headquarters with the latest. Glenn?
Well, Ed, a half dozen murders in 1 week, just too many for some area ministers. They came here to police headquarters to meet Police Chief Eddie Compass and to get his support. The ministers want all churches with schools in the neighborhood to adopt a school, set up a mentoring and tutorial programs during and after school. They say the city is in the midst of a public health crisis.
As much as we prayed for peace in the Middle East, as much as we're praying for peace overseas, as much as they're talking about universal health care for Iraqis and all these kinds of things, there are endemic issues in our own society, and especially here in the city of New Orleans, where as members of the body of Christ, we see the need to be involved.
Because I'm tired. I'm tired of seeing our young people dying on the streets. I'm tired of standing by as a community and saying what needs to be done and nobody stepping forward.
Chief Compass gave the ministers his full support. From here, the ministers plan to talk with DA Eddie Jordan, also School Superintendent Tony Amato, parents groups, also the kids. That's who they really want to talk with, Ed. We're live in Mid-City. Glenn Boyd, ABC 26 News.
Okay, Glenn, thank you. Chief Compass and District Attorney Eddie Jordan will host a summit to talk about New Orleans' rising murder rate August 30th at the Municipal Auditorium. The public is invited. Right now, New Orleans police are looking for this man, 42-year-old Leonard Williams. He's wanted for second-degree murder in the death of Norman Jackson 3 weeks ago. Williams is 6'1", 198 pounds. If you've seen him, call Crime Stoppers 822-1111 or toll-free 1-877-903-STOP.
St. Tammany deputies arrested a man for trying to run down his wife on Fern Place near Mandeville. Deputies say when Stacy Erickson wouldn't get in the car with her husband, 36-year-old Edward Erickson tried to run her over. He then fled. Deputies caught up to him in eastern New Orleans. He's charged with aggravated assault and other charges. Well, finally, a break from the humidity is coming.
How cool? We're going to say cool will it get? Is it going to get cool? Meteorologist, is it really cool? Chris Rhodes here with our live QuickCast. Chris?
I thought you were asking me if I was cool. I was going to say, yeah,
that.
definitely. But let's not get too carried away here. We're not talking about really cool weather. In fact, temperatures will only be dropping down to more seasonable levels. But you know what? After sitting well above for several days, this is going to feel nice. We'll be dropping down into the low 60s south of the lake, upper 50s north of the lake. Clear skies. It's going to be a lovely day coming up tomorrow with less humid air on the way. And we're going to talk about subtropical storm Anna now in the Atlantic. That's at 6:15. Ed?
Okay, Chris, thank you. We'll see you a little bit later. Jefferson Parish leaders are taking to the offensive to combat the West Nile virus. The parish will have chickens like these at as many as 2 dozen locations in Jefferson checked for West Nile each week. Thousands of mosquitoes will be trapped and tested as well. And a new Jefferson ordinance allows parish workers to go on private property to inspect potential mosquito havens. The parish will spend up to $200,000 more on mosquito control this year.
Intense inspection of the area, looking for breeding sites of a vector mosquito, and of course responding to those finds. We increase evening sprayings. We increase, if necessary, aerial sprayings.
27 deaths last year in Louisiana were blamed on West Nile. An infected bird was already discovered in central Metairie. Parish leaders are asking you to remove water from saucers of potted plants, cover your barbecue grill, empty your bird bath once a week, clean clogged roof gutters, remove trash from the yard, and cover boats on trailers.
An extra day for fun, an extra day for people to come, an extra day for the hotels to sell, an extra day for locals to enjoy it.
Next, it's Jazzfest week. What the extra day for Jazzfest means in dollars and cents.
Plus, New Orleans' #1 ambulance company files for bankruptcy. How the company says that will affect business.
And later, how New Orleans honored Ernie Cato. We've got New Orleans in a minute and more news ahead on ABC 26 News at 6.
Liz Reyes, Ed Daniels, Chief Meteorologist Bruce Katz, and Harry McCullough with sports. You're watching WGNO. We've got New Orleans on ABC 26 News.
It is time to get out your suntan lotion, big hat, and dancing shoes.
Well, maybe some of us the dancing shoes. The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival begins on Thursday. Yes, this Thursday. ABC 26's Paul Murphy reports on preparations for the biggest fest ever and what it means in dollars and cents to the city.
3 days and counting. Crews are scrambling to transform the New Orleans Fairgrounds into the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival.
It's closer than you think and hopefully not closer than we think.
Festival organizers have one less day to prepare this year. Fats Domino headlines the first ever Thursday opening. Tourism leaders say the extra day should help them build on the event's $300 million economic impact.
An extra day for fun, an extra day for people to come, an extra day for the hotels to sell, an extra day for locals to enjoy it.
I feel good. The New Orleans Convention and Visitors Bureau expects hotel occupancy in the high 90% for Jazzfest, even though it expects fewer international travelers in this post-9/11 world.
Jazzfest has always been our best ambassador to the rest of the world. I think you'll definitely see a dip there, but we're hoping that you're going to see the gap made up by domestic visitors.
More than 8,000 musicians are expected to perform this year. Producer Quint Davis predicts it will be the coolest fest ever, and not only because of the music.
This year we got together with a company that does cooling misters, and some of those are hanging in the tents, and that they'll be around the grounds more than we had before.
With the war winding down in Iraq, organizers say the Jazzfest is coming at the right time. They expect attendance to be in the neighborhood of 600,000 for the 8 days of the festival.
You know, it's been a tough time, whether you had family that was over there fighting or whether you didn't like the fact that we were fighting. I think it was tough on everybody, the uncertainty of it all. And there's something really wonderful in the spirit of New Orleans music that this festival is all about, and I think we could all use that.
In Gentilly, Paul Murphy, ABC 26 News.
This year's headliners include Bob Dylan, Joe Cocker, Crosby, Stills & Nash, LL Cool J, the OJs, Buddy Guy, and many more. Log on to our website, abc26.com, to point and click your way to all the Jazzfest information.
New Orleans' largest ambulance company is filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, but leaders of Priority EMS of Gretna say there will be no interruption of service. Priority is the exclusive provider with St. Bernard Parish. The company's CEO says all creditors will be paid.
More news ahead on a cool down on the way. Meteorologist Chris Rhodes tells us how cool it will get next.
Plus, healthcare leaders say this is the future of senior care, how the PACE Center will work.
And kids get a special roller skating visit. New Orleans in a minute. More news ahead on ABC 26 News at 6.
ABC 26 weather with meteorologist Chris Rhodes.
You know, you can't.
ABC 26 weather with meteorologist Chris Rhodes.
You know, you can't win in the weather department. Talk to some people, they want more rain for their gardens. Others want more sunshine. I thought today was a pretty good compromise. A little bit of rain in the morning time, some sun by the afternoon. Apparently not. How about less humid? Will that do? Because that's what's behind this cool front draped across southeast Louisiana. It's heading off to the east. Behind it, clear skies. Finally, those clouds and showers and storms, they are getting the big shove to the east. So Florida's dealing with some of that. We've got clear skies, at least initially behind it. Some clouds already trying to rebuild on the backside of high pressure, but we'll get to that in a bit. We're going to be dealing with some sunshine for tomorrow. We had a couple spotty showers and thunderstorms very early in the morning. Not much in the way of rain totals, though. Now you're just seeing some ground clutter showing up. High temperatures today, a couple of degrees above normal. 81 in Sidell, 80 at the lakefront, 80 Kenner, 82 in Hammond, 80 in Macomb. Where do we sit right now? Well, in the upper 70s to around 80, which is pretty pleasant. The dew point temperatures, though, are still high at this point in the mid-60s. We'll see our dew points fall into the 50s tomorrow, so that'll be much more comfortable feeling air. 62% relative humidity, barometer falling. Winds have shifted to the northwest at 5. Another sign that this cool front has pushed through. On your 48-hour computer model forecast, you can see where that cool front is and where it's headed off. Slowly but surely away from us. Here comes the less humid air riding in on northeast winds. Clouds building back up into Texas with the possibility of some showers and thunderstorms ahead of another cool front that's going to be charging through here just in time for the first day of Jazzfest. But we'll be dealing with some very pleasant weather for tomorrow into Tuesday with just a slight chance of rain showers developing, it looks like, late in the day on Wednesday. A much better chance with this cool front coming in for Thursday. And something else we're talking about, here it is, subtropical storm Anna. Yeah, I know it's only April. Officially, hurricane season doesn't begin until June 1st. This storm began as a cold core area of low pressure off the coast of the Northeast, developed some tropical characteristics. Now we've got showers and thunderstorms right around the center, but here's the good news. It's moving away from the mainland, so we're not going to have to worry about this at all. Wind speeds right now, 40 miles per hour with subtropical storm Anna. Tonight for us, mostly clear, less humid, comfortable. Mid-50s north of the lake, low 60s south. By your morning time, lots of sunshine, upper 50s to low 60s. Smooth drive-in, at least as far as the weather is concerned. By midday, upper 70s to low 80s, partly cloudy skies, less humid. A very nice day, I think. And here's a look at your ABC 26 7-day planner. Keeping it relatively nice for the next 48 hours. A better chance for rain coming in on Thursday into Friday morning. But I think we should be able to clear out the rain by Friday afternoon. Weekend is shaping up dry and warm. And your marine forecast, no big concerns over the next couple of days. And here's a look at your tide data. So we got through Easter. on a good note, and I think for most of the first weekend of Jazz Fest, we should be A-OK. Thursday is the iffy one.
85 is not too bad on Sunday. That's about normal, right?
That's a little warm. No, normal for then is 80.
80.
Ooh, that is a dip.
A little warmer.
I stand corrected.
Yes.
Senator John Breaux showed off what he calls the future of medical care for seniors.
With the opportunity that we have to increase the life expectancy of our citizens also comes the very great challenge of trying to figure out how we're going to care for them.
This is the new home for senior care inside St. Cecilia's Church in Bywater. It's Louisiana's first PACE Center that stands for Program for All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly. Seniors who want to live at home will be able to come here to get medical treatment from a team of doctors and nurses. Plus, the PACE Center will offer activity rooms and a fitness area. To find out more, there's a link on our website at abc26.com. How Jazz Fest is honoring a jazz legend.
Plus, who made the day of many kids? We've got New Orleans in a minute.
They're 3D glasses, and if you put them on, you can see the picture pop out off the page.
Visitors dressed up in costumes and rollerblades stopped by Children's Hospital today. They're members of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Starlight Express. That's a show at the Grand Casino Biloxi. It was quite a treat for the sick kids away from home. The late great musician Ernie Cato was the reason for all of this partying at the New Orleans Center for Creative Arts. The Jazz and Heritage Foundation and the U.S. Postal Service teamed up to honor Ernie Cato as a 15th souvenir envelope honoree. His widow and city officials were on hand for the ceremony. Ernie Cato joins a list of other greats bestowed with the honor leading up to Jazz Fest. And that's tonight's New Orleans in a minute. Baron Davis came up gimpy in a Game 1 loss last night. Will he be ready for Game 2? Harry McCullough tells us next.
And after sports, why the Aquarium is throwing back this guest on ABC 26 News at 6.
ABC 26 Sports with sports director Harry McCullough.
Hi, everybody. There are a number of reasons why the Hornets are down 1-0 in their playoff series with Philadelphia. The officials were horrible. Allen Iverson was spectacular, but even with both of those things, it might have been Baron Davis's knee that was the difference.
What would keep you out of Wednesday's game?
If I got shot in the head, probably.
You have to admire Baron Davis's courage staying in the game last night, but Davis on the court may have been worse for his team than Davis off of it. He had no ability to run the offense, turning the ball over 6 times. The Hornets had 21 as a team, and the limp obviously affected his defense, allowing the red-hot Iverson way too many clean looks. Today he had an MRI and is officially listed as day-to-day with a sprained knee. He didn't practice today and he won't tomorrow, but he'll be a game-time decision for Game 2 on Wednesday.
I feel like I can contribute. As far as the minutes, I don't know how many minutes I can play. But I feel when I'm out there, if I can give them 5 good minutes at a time, 10 good minutes at a time, however, until my knee starts stiffening up.
The Hornets were quick to point out that it only takes one of the 2 games in Philly to steal the home court advantage. And a double nickel game by anybody is rare in this league.
And he shot the lights out, I mean, Iverson, for careers, probably just at 40% or under. To expect him to continue that kind of pace, it probably won't happen.
Without Davis, the Hornets' scoring focus again falls on Jamal Mashburn. He had 28 in Game 1, despite facing a variety of men and schemes from the 76ers.
I mean, you work so hard during the off-season over the years to get your reputation, so to speak. So you kind of expect that a little bit, and it's a compliment in a way, but it's tough out there at times.
The Hornets will practice again tomorrow afternoon. Game 2 in Philly on Wednesday before coming back to New Orleans for Games 3 and 4 Saturday and Monday. Over to football, and there you know, there's never a good time to get shot in the back. But if you're one of the top cornerbacks coming out of college with the NFL draft on Saturday, it's even worse. Oregon State's Dennis Weatherby, who Mike Detillier has the third-rated cornerback in the draft, was shot yesterday in his hometown of Decatur, California. The attack being considered a gang-related incident. A spokesman said Weatherby was an innocent bystander. The injuries are not, by the way, life-threatening. Here's a programming note. We have a draft show coming up on Sunday. The Saints have the draft on Saturday and Sunday right here on ABC 26 at 10:35 on Sunday. And in the sports headlines, Kansas has himself a new head coach. Bill Self comes over from Illinois to replace Roy Williams. In baseball, the Z's at Iowa tonight. They're back home on Thursday. And HP Classic has a couple of great commitments. Vijay Singh is coming in, one of the top players in the world. And Lynn Matisse, if you all remember, had that great round on Sunday at the Masters. Also said he is coming on in. So they have a great feel to here for this tournament. They still need tickets, by the way. If you want to help out, boy, they could, the charities could sure benefit.
Good cause.
Liz
Okay.
Before
He's got the big bucks here.
Get a skybox or something. Yeah, let's.
I'll have to borrow it from Ed first. Well, finally this evening, the Aquarium is throwing a guest back to the Gulf. You wouldn't have seen this 120-pound turtle at the aquarium, but she's been there since February. A veterinarian found the loggerhead on the shores of Lake Pontchartrain in bad shape after nursing her back to health. She'll be released this summer. The vet says the Gulf of Mexico is the turtle's natural habitat. See, Ed, we kept you. We didn't throw you back. That's the difference. Thanks for watching.
More news tonight on ABC 26 News at 10. We'll see you then.